Frida Kahlo was born in Mexico in 1907. She lived in a bright blue house with her family. Her father was a photographer. He taught Frida how to see the world through images. As a child, Frida got sick with polio. It made one of her legs weaker than the other. Other kids made fun of her, but Frida was strong. She walked with pride and wore long skirts. She wanted to be a doctor. She studied hard and went to a top school in Mexico City. At age 18, Frida was in a terrible bus accident. A metal rod went through her body. She had many injuries. She spent months in bed, unable to move. To pass the time, Frida started painting. Her mother gave her a mirror and colors. Frida painted herself. She painted her pain, her face, and her feelings. Painting helped her survive. It became her way of telling the world her story. Frida's art was very different. It was full of emotion, color, and mystery. She often painted herself because she said, "I know myself best." Frida met Diego Rivera, a famous Mexican painter. He was older than her and very famous. They fell in love and got married. Their relationship was full of love and pain. Frida and Diego both had affairs, and they often fought. But they stayed connected. Frida never had children. She had several miscarriages, which made her very sad. She painted her sadness, her body, and her losses in powerful ways. Frida became known for her self-portraits. People around the world began to notice her work. Her home, La Casa Azul, became a symbol of her life and art. Frida dressed in traditional Mexican clothes. She used her style to express her culture and pride. She wore flowers in her hair and bright colors. People loved her unique look. Frida didn't hide her pain. She showed it in her face, her clothes, and her art. She once said, "I never paint dreams. I paint my own reality." Her paintings were honest. They showed a woman who was strong and broken at the same time. Frida traveled to the US with Diego. She painted while he worked on murals. She didn't like the US. She missed Mexico and felt out of place. Her art continued to grow. She had her own shows and more people loved her work.
In later years, Frida's health got worse. She had many surgeries and was often in pain. Sometimes, she had to paint from her bed, but she never stopped. Frida began to use a wheelchair. She still wore beautiful dresses and bright lipstick. She kept painting, even when her body was tired and weak.
In 1953, Frida had her first solo show in Mexico. It was a big moment in her life. Doctors told her not to go, but Frida wanted to be there. She arrived in an ambulance and was brought into the gallery in her bed. People were amazed by her strength. She smiled, laughed, and welcomed visitors from her bed. That same year, her leg had to be amputated because of infection. It was very hard for her. She became more depressed but still tried to keep creating. Frida wrote in her diary about her sadness and pain, but also about hope. She once wrote, "Feet, what do I need you for when I have wings to fly?" Frida died in 1954 at the age of 47. Her last words were, "I hope the exit is joyful." After her death, her work became even more famous. People saw how brave and honest she was. She became a symbol of strength for women, artists, and anyone who suffers. Frida's home, La Casa Azul, is now a museum in Mexico City. People visit from around the world to see her paintings, clothes, and letters. Her story is told in books, movies, and songs. She is remembered everywhere. Frida's art shows that beauty and pain can live together. She taught people to accept themselves, even with scars. Frida never gave up. She turned her suffering into something beautiful. She once said, "At the end of the day, we can endure much more than we think." Frida's life is a story of courage, creativity, and deep love for life. Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera had a passionate but turbulent marriage. Diego was notoriously unfaithful and had multiple affairs, including one with Frida's own sister. Frida was deeply hurt by his betrayals but also had her own romantic relationships. Aside from her marriage to Diego Rivera, she was involved with both men and women. She had an affair with Leon Trotsky during his exile in Mexico. Frida Kahlo was openly bisexual, a rare and bold stance in early 20th century Mexico. She had romantic and sexual relationships with both men and women, including notable figures such as Josephine Baker and Chavela Vargas. Frida did not hide this part of her identity. Instead, she embraced it fully in her life and art. Her relationships with women were often passionate and emotionally significant, reflecting her desire for love, understanding, and connection beyond traditional gender norms. Her fearless approach to sexuality challenged the conservative views of her time and helped shape her legacy as a queer icon in art and feminist history. Embrace pain as a source of creativity. Frida turned her physical and emotional pain into powerful works of art that expressed her inner world. Stay true to your identity. Frida proudly showcased her Mexican heritage through her clothing and paintings. Don't let limitations define you. Despite her serious injuries, she continued to paint, even from her hospital bed. Use your voice to challenge norms. Frida expressed her views on politics, gender, and identity through her life and art. Vulnerability can be strength. She fearlessly portrayed her emotions, struggles, and traumas, inspiring others to do the same. If you were inspired by this story, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more powerful biographies.